It's over. Meghan Markle hasn't just been distanced from the royal family. She's been erased. No calls, no texts, no polite exchanges at Christmas, nothing. For the first time, insiders are saying it's not just a cold patch. It's a permanent freeze-out led by Prince William and Princess Catherine themselves. And the silence? It's not passive. It's calculated. This isn't the kind of fallout you read about in tabloid headlines. This is deeper. The kind of decision that reshapes royal dynamics and sends a very clear message. Meghan's chapter in royal life is closed, and there's no coming back. But how did it get to this point? And why are even Meghan's oldest allies walking away now? What you're about to hear goes far beyond family drama. It's about power, protection, betrayal, and a strategy so cold it's almost poetic. Behind palace gates, Meghan Markle's name isn't just unwelcome, it's forbidden. According to sources close to the royal family, palace staff have been given a quiet but firm directive. Don't bring her up. Not in passing, not in meetings, not even in casual conversation. Especially not around Princess Catherine, who, insiders, say has made it crystal clear. She wants peace, not more drama. The silence isn't accidental. It's strategic. There are no more attempts at reconciliation, no olive branches, not even a photo-friendly public moment to keep up appearances. The line has been drawn, and Meghan has been left entirely on the other side of it. Prince William's role in all of this is clear. His anger isn't explosive. It's icy, controlled, final. Those close to him describe a man who's done trying to fix things. He's no longer reacting. He's removing. And the way it's happening, quietly, behind closed doors, is what makes it all the more devastating. Meghan hasn't just lost favor. She's lost relevance inside the most powerful family in Britain. But this wasn't just about cutting ties. It was a response to something much more personal, something that hit at the exact moment the family could no longer afford the distraction. And that moment? It came on May 2nd. May 2nd wasn't just another date on the calendar. It was the breaking point. That's when Prince Harry gave yet another headline-grabbing interview, this time with the BBC. In it, he opened up once again about his strained relationship with the royals, airing grievances that many inside the palace thought had long been put to rest. But this wasn't a harmless PR move. It was personal. And it sent shockwaves straight through the monarchy. For Prince William, this was the final straw. Sources say he didn't yell. He didn't storm out. Instead, he made a decision. Quiet, permanent, and backed by one driving force, Catherine. Still recovering from serious health complications, she had reached her emotional limit. The stress, the drama, the relentless tension, it was affecting her deeply, and William wasn't about to let that continue. From that moment forward, Meghan wasn't just persona non grata, she became untouchable. The decision was swift, and unlike past disputes, there was no back and forth, no private conversations, no maybe next time, just silence. And what followed next would show just how serious they were. This isn't the first time someone's cut Meghan off. Before the royal family shut the door, Meghan had already made a habit of doing it herself. Her father, her half-siblings, former friends, even longtime Hollywood contacts. One by one, those relationships fractured, some quietly, others very publicly. And each time, the story was the same. Intense closeness followed by a dramatic fallout and a permanent break. Now, for the first time, she's on the receiving end. Insiders say the parallels are hard to ignore. Meghan, who once distanced herself from what she called toxic influences, is now being distanced by the most powerful family in the UK. No closure, no confrontation, just gone. Even outside the palace, that pattern is starting to show. Edward Enninful, the former editor-in-chief of British Vogue, once considered one of Meghan's strongest media allies, is no longer on speaking terms with her. Their once celebrated collaboration, hailed as groundbreaking at the time, reportedly ended in silence, and not the peaceful kind. Those who've worked closely with Meghan describe the same cycle: charm, connection, demands, and then distance. When things don't go her way, the relationship doesn't bend. It breaks. And the palace? They're not blind to that pattern. In fact, it may be the very reason they chose to go radio silent. Because they knew, better than anyone, that nothing cuts deeper than being ignored. But Meghan wasn't just being ignored by the royals. Behind the scenes, the palace was doing something even colder, starving her of the one thing she always used to control the narrative. No interviews, no statements, no clapbacks, just silence. While Meghan and Harry have gone public time and again, through sit-down interviews, Netflix deals, memoirs, the palace has responded with the sharpest tool in its arsenal: complete disengagement. Not a word. Not a headline. Not even a veiled quote from a senior royal source. And that silence? It's not passive. It's tactical. Angela Levin, a royal biographer with close ties to palace insiders, described the approach as starving the drama of oxygen. No public rebuttals mean no fuel for the fire. And more importantly, no satisfaction for those hoping to draw the royals into another media circus. It's an old-school move, rooted in centuries of tradition. When the monarchy is under fire, it retreats into silence, not spectacle. But in Meghan's case, insiders say this tactic cuts especially deep. Why? Because silence doesn't just mute the conflict, it erases her place in the narrative entirely. No acknowledgement means no relevance. And for someone who built her brand on controlling the story, losing that control is devastating. Behind the palace walls, the phrase "she no longer exists here" isn't just symbolic. It's policy. What once might have sparked a headline is now met with a shrug. Meghan isn't being fought against. She's being faded out, quietly, intentionally, and it's working. But while the royals maintain their silence, one figure still floats in the middle of this Cold War. One man whose fate is far more complicated and far less certain. While Meghan's been effectively cut off, Harry still lingers in the background, half inside, half out. The palace may have slammed the door on her, but with Harry, it's complicated. He's still family, still the king's son. And despite everything, there's a reluctant thread of hope that maybe, just maybe, he could find his way back. But that thread is fraying fast, and insiders say it comes with one immovable condition: stop airing the family's dirty laundry. No more interviews, no more memoirs, no more Netflix confessions. For now, the royal family is holding its breath, watching closely, because they know the truth. If Harry speaks again, publicly, emotionally, with the cameras rolling, there may be no path back. And yet, pulling away from Meghan now would mean unraveling everything he stood beside her for. The interviews, the docuseries, the book, the brand. Walking that back would feel like a betrayal, not just of her, but of his entire post-royal identity. That's the trap. The deeper he defends her, the harder it becomes to step away. And the more he speaks, the less room there is for reconciliation. It's a tightrope strung between two impossible choices, his wife and his family. But every step he takes risks snapping the rope completely. Still, the palace isn't closing every door. Not yet. There's a belief, however faint, that Harry might eventually return, on his own terms, quietly, without cameras or statements. But that version of Harry can't coexist with the one the world's been watching. And if Meghan remains at the center of his public life, insiders say, then whatever chance he has left disappears with her. But even beyond the royal walls, the cost of this rift is starting to show. The cold shoulder didn't stop at Buckingham Palace. It spread, and fast. Once Meghan was the media's darling, a modern duchess, a symbol of change, a woman rewriting the rules. But now, that glow has dimmed. The glossy magazine covers, the glowing profiles, the endless applause, they've gone quiet, brutally quiet. Even the outlets that once championed her, Vogue, The Sun, the Daily Mail, have shifted tone. Soft focus pieces have been replaced with harsh reality checks. Editors are no longer protecting the image, they're reporting the cracks. And it's not just the press. Hollywood, too, has cooled. Former supporters have backed away. The invites aren't flowing like they used to. The influencer partnerships have slowed. Behind closed doors, there's a quiet calculation happening. Who benefits from being close to Meghan Markle now? According to insiders, the answer isn't as clear as it used to be. It's not just about reputation. It's about unpredictability. Big personalities in the entertainment world don't like walking on eggshells, and stories of Meghan's alleged diva behavior have circulated far beyond royal circles. Former collaborators whisper about mood swings, shifting demands, and last-minute changes that left teams scrambling. Some tried to tolerate it, for the status, the buzz, the spotlight. But over time, even those connections frayed. Edward Enninful, once her biggest media ally in Britain, didn't just back off. He went silent. And in that silence, insiders say, was a message. The relationship wasn't worth salvaging. Not professionally, and definitely not personally. This isn't cancellation. It's something colder. It's the slow fade of someone who once controlled the narrative, and now no longer does. But Meghan's behavior behind the scenes wasn't just frustrating. To some, it revealed a deeper pattern that's harder to ignore, and it's one that could explain why even her inner circle is vanishing. Image Meghan built was powerful. A woman of grace, ambition, and resilience standing up to an outdated institution. But behind the curtain, that image is starting to crack. And the cracks aren't coming from her enemies. They're coming from those who once stood firmly by her side. Insiders now talk about a different Meghan, one who demands control in every room. One whose charm fades quickly when things don't go her way. One who burns bridges faster than she can build them. Former staff have described her mood as volatile. Collaborators say the working environment became tense, unpredictable, even hostile. It wasn't just one bad day, it was a pattern. A trail of exits, silent fallouts, and unspoken tension. And that's the part that hits hardest, because Meghan's entire brand has been built on female empowerment, kindness, and inclusion. But the version described by those who worked with her tells a different story. One filled with emotional coercion, behind-the-scenes outbursts, and relationships that collapse under pressure. Even among celebrities and influencers, there's a shift. Where she once inspired hashtags and fan movements, now there's hesitation. People aren't attacking her, but they're backing away. Quietly, deliberately. And in Hollywood, silence speaks louder than scandal. Public sentiment is shifting too. Once hailed as a revolutionary figure challenging the monarchy, Meghan is now seen by many as a disruptor in the worst sense. Not because she broke tradition, but because she kept trying to control the fallout afterward. She built a narrative of being mistreated, and then tried to manage every part of how that narrative was told. But when every version of the story keeps changing, even supporters start asking questions. And in the royal family's eyes, this isn't just drama. It's a threat to their stability, to their image, and to their future. Which is why William's response wasn't to fight back. It was to disappear her. But this vanishing act isn't about revenge. It's about protecting something bigger. At the heart of this royal storm is one unshakable truth. The monarchy must survive, no matter the personal cost. Prince William isn't reacting out of spite or emotion. His moves are cold, calculated, and strategic. To him, Meghan isn't just a source of gossip. She's a threat to the stability of the crown itself. William sees the monarchy as a legacy that transcends individual drama. And with King Charles's health reportedly fragile, the pressure to keep things stable is crushing. That's why the decision to cut Meghan out wasn't impulsive. It was a protective measure, a way to stop the spiraling cycle of drama that's threatened to turn the royal family into a public spectacle. His approach is simple: total disengagement. No public fights, no media battles, no second chances. Silence is the weapon. Denial, the shield. This cold shoulder is a message louder than any headline. Meghan Markle no longer exists in their world. Not as a duchess, not as family, not even as a topic of conversation. And this isn't just about Meghan's actions. It's about safeguarding the institution's future. The crown depends on perception, on trust, and on a united front. William is determined that the royal family won't become another tabloid circus. But protecting the crown means making hard decisions, and this one cuts deeper than anyone imagined. Behind the royal facade, there's a human story that rarely makes headlines. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been quietly battling serious health challenges, and those struggles have shaped the family's latest decisions in a profound way. Sources say Kate's focus has been on protecting her own mental peace. And that means no Meghan Markle. This isn't about pettiness or royal politics. It's about survival. The emotional weight Meghan's presence has brought to the palace has been immense. Years of public drama, leaked stories, and tense interactions have taken a toll that the public never sees. One insider said Kate isn't just tired, she's worn down. The constant back and forth with Meghan has left deep scars, both emotional and reputational. And when it came to drawing the line, Kate didn't just agree with William. She insisted. This wasn't a casual decision. It was a firm boundary to protect her family's well-being. For Kate, it's about putting her own health first and creating a peaceful environment free from the constant whirlwind. Meghan stirs up. That emotional exhaustion explains a lot about why Meghan's name is now off-limits in the palace. But it also raises a question. How much of the royal family's silence is about protecting the crown, and how much is about protecting the people inside it? While Meghan faces an icy lifetime ban, Harry's situation is more complicated. The royal family hasn't slammed the door shut on him entirely. There's still a flicker of hope. and understanding that he's family, after all. But that hope comes with hard conditions. No more public drama, no airing dirty laundry, and absolutely no more media attacks that drag the monarchy through the mud. Reports say there's no path forward until Harry commits to silence. Real, lasting silence. That means no more unauthorized interviews, no Netflix passive-aggressive digs, and a complete stop to using royal status as a weapon in public disputes. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially since Harry has tied his story so tightly to Meghan's. From the Oprah interview to documentaries and his memoir, he's fully invested. Backing away now would feel like betraying not just Meghan, but the entire narrative they've built together. That's the trap. Harry's defense of Meghan keeps pulling him deeper into conflict. Inside the palace, many see this differently. They view Harry as a man who once understood duty, now using his royal position to launch media battles filled with half-truths and personal grievances. Even when King Charles quietly provided financial support for their royal exit, Harry painted a very different picture, a narrative of abandonment. This contradiction has fueled frustration behind the scenes and widened the divide. Harry's journey back won't be easy, if it happens at all. The royal family's decision to cut Meghan Markle out isn't just about one woman. It's a symbol of a deeper struggle within the monarchy. This cold silence is as much about preserving tradition and stability as it is about personal heartbreak and fractured relationships. Meghan, who once controlled the narrative with charm and media savvy, now finds herself isolated. Not only from the royals, but from once strong allies in Hollywood and the British press. Her image is cracking, and the warm glow she once carried is fading, fast. Harry walks a razor's edge, torn between loyalty to his wife and the family he was born into. His fight to protect Meghan has left him trapped in a web of his own making. Yet, the crown endures. The monarchy has survived centuries of scandal, tragedy, and upheaval by always putting the institution first. This latest chapter is painful and complex, but it's far from the end. Behind the headlines and silence lies a timeless rule. Personal chaos must never overshadow the crown. As the royal family turns its back on Meghan, the world watches closely, wondering, will this be the final act? Or just another twist in the ongoing saga? Only time will tell. But if you want to stay updated as this story unfolds, make sure to like the video and subscribe. There's plenty more to come, and you won't want to miss a single twist.